What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Screw Up Sessions with the collab of Know New Friends. We're back for another episode in our UAP series, a much awaited episode with our very special guest joining us today. She is the season 88 courtside reporter of our alma mater, De La
Yes,
Salle
sir.
University Manila. Please welcome to the show, Sophie Espiritu. Welcome.
Hi
Welcome.
everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm excited also for today's episode.
Yes, hopefully this will be a nice you don't need a break from volleyball season because it's going really well. Like we're so proud of everything
Oh
that's
yeah.
happening right now.
Yeah,
But it's always nice to like look back and remember this historic. I think it will go down as one of the greatest basketball seasons of UAAP ever.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we're so excited to have you here to discuss everything and to kind of nerd out and yeah. Anyway, okay. All right. So I guess the first thing we want to know is like how this happened, how you got to where you are now. Like how what made you wanna apply to be a courtside reporter? Like what give us the deets. Was it a long journey? Was it a short decision? For you, did you wake up one morning and you were like, okay, I'm gonna try it? Or was this a long time coming?
Um, I think it's a mix of both. I get asked this question a lot because people who know me, like before I became a courtside reporter, know that I'm more of an introvert actually. I'm more of a quiet person. So I think no one expected me to audition and to like do this role. But it actually started I guess when I was a kid, or I started watching the UAAP when I was 12 with my family. All of us are like big UAAP fans and fans of LaSalle, especially because my dad's from LaSalle and he's really into sports. So we started watching games like live in the arenas, watching LaSalle. My mom is from UP, so we would watch both LaSalle and UP games. But she would cheer for LaSalle, we would cheer for UP back then. And at that time, like UP did not have that many fans, so we would just like support the teams, and we were just really into the UAAP in general, but especially LaSalle. So like that love for the UAAP has always been there for me since I was a kid. As for like the courtside reporting side, it was something that I only discovered recently. And so when I entered college, when I started going to LaSalle, um, that idea of becoming a courtside reporter was always like in the back of my head, like what if? Just because I was exposed to the UAAP, so like I knew what courtside reporters would do. But I don't know, I never thought that I could do it because you know my personality is a bit more quiet. Like I had no experience doing anything broadcast related or being a reporter or anything. And I was also really busy with school because I'm taking up industrial engineering, so I was really like focused on academics. And then I never really told anyone that I thought about courtside reporting. It was just something that I think about and then I'd forget about it and then yeah, just go on with my life. And then once I entered my final year of college, which was last year, fourth year, going into my fifth year, randomly one day my mom was just like, what if you try to be courtside reporter? Because at that time they were having auditions and they would show like on TV, no, we're looking for the new UAP correspondent. So she was like, what if you try? And then so my mom was the first person who I told that like maybe I was thinking about it, but I don't know, like I just didn't have the confidence in myself that I could do it because you know I had no experience. My only thing was that I knew the UAAP and I knew the sports, so that was like my only sell. And I really liked writing, and that was something I couldn't really do much in my course because my course is like engineering, so mainly numbers. So I was like, it could be a good avenue for me to, you know, explore my love for writing as well. Um, and then time passed, the audition deadline was nearing, and I still hadn't sent in an audition or an application. And then finally, like on the last day that they were accepting auditions, I just sent in my video. I was like, why not just try? Like, we'll see what happens. I have nothing to lose. And if I get it, then that's great. And if I don't, then it's also okay. But at least I don't have any what ifs in my head. So there I sent in my audition and then here I am now. So yeah, kind of a long story. Is that a long answer? But yeah.
Wow, everything kind of like the timing kind of aligned perfectly, right? Like it's your senior year. This is when you're ending your course already, and since
Yeah.
you had this passion for writing that you didn't really get to explore because of your course, like this was like technically the perfect way that you could like do all of that and still, balance both things at the same time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it was like towards my last year of school where I had a bit more time because, I have fewer subjects na lang. I was only doing like now I'm only doing my thesis and last term I was only taking a few subjects. So it was like really perfect timing. And also as I got older, like I had more confidence in myself and so like I don't think it would have been the same if I had auditioned earlier in my college career versus now.
Hmm.
Yeah, the timing just really worked out.
Yeah. Massive respect to you, because you said you were an introvert, diba? And I can kind of relate to that being introverted myself. Pero, taking on something that's arguably like would be more fitting for like someone who is more out there or extroverted, diba? Like being a correspondent is a really big leap that you took. But, that's also one thing that we noticed from the other, correspondence we've had before. Na they've pretty much taken the leap to become a correspondent, and it ended up paying off in a fulfilling way for them. So I'm sure it was worth it for you to just, enter this world. And also being a UAP fan already from the start helped for sure. But I think that's a pretty good combo to not just be a correspondent, working for like UAP and all that, but also being a fan because it helps make it not feel like work, but more like, just having fun and just enjoying everything that you could soak in from the experience, diba? So yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. It gave me
Mm.
like both sides. Like I was able to see first as a fan and now I see like more behind the scenes. So that was also one of the reasons why I wanted to try it. Because yeah, now I get like a totally different perspective. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a real. Now you're a fan behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't really feel like a job because I genuinely love the UAAP. So, that passion, I feel like I try to translate it to my reports as well. My passion for the UAP, my passion for LaSalle. So yeah, it really works well and it's a lot of fun. I don't regret doing it. It was really scary at first because yun nga, I'm an introvert. So it was like a huge, huge step out of my comfort zone. I don't think I've ever done anything as out of my comfort zone as this. Um, but yeah, it worked out the end and yeah, it paid off. And I think this was the
Yeah.
perfect season also to do it. It's for basketball especially. So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about that. It's the cherry on top that LaSalle did, end up winning, going all the way. And even now, sa volleyball naman, we're doing really well too. So yeah, congrats on being able to do all of this, diba? And under the best circumstance nga for our school. So yeah. Okay, so speaking of school, diba? So being a correspondent, you're also a student, diba? So you're not like a full-time correspondent. So we noticed nga before, like from other correspondents then, most of them were in courses that aren't really related to, broadcast, communications and all that. So we've always wondered how you guys were able to juggle all of your responsibilities as both a student and as a correspondent. So you mentioned that your course is engineering, which is, one of like the hardest courses out there, diba? So ayun, on itself, diba, it's already hard. Pero having to also be a correspondent, which is pretty demanding also with all your responsibilities, for sure it's not easy. Pero, with all that said, how did your course help you throughout your correspondent journey? Did it like affect anything in any way?
Um, I think if how my course helped me, as you said, it's like completely different from courtside reporting. So I think it taught me how to balance things first before I even became a correspondent. Because it's a very demanding course and we're juggling a lot of different subjects at a time, a lot of exams. So it taught me time management, how to like separate my brain to focus on different things at a time. But now like balancing it now, I think being a courtside reporter, like going to the games and stuff or going to training, it's a nice break from my academics. It's like kind of my escape when let's say I'm like stressed with school because I still am in school right now. So juggling my thesis with courtside reporting, especially because my thesis is a solo thesis, was really difficult. I actually had to miss one game now because of my thesis. But it's also nice when I get to go to games. It's like that's like my time to have fun and to relax and unwind from the stress of academics. So yeah, I think like they go hand in hand. A lot of people ask me how I juggle it, and I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I think it's really just like managing your time. And yeah, I love being a courtside reporter, so it doesn't really feel like a job when I'm doing it. And even if it takes time out of my day or, it's like it is work at the end of the day and it can get tiring, but I love doing it. So um, yeah, I don't regret it. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a nice break from school.
Yeah, that's a cool perspective nga, na, in a way nga, since you mentioned it doesn't feel like a job and all that. Na it's your break from school, despite also still having your own responsibilities as a correspondent. Syempre, you have to do like your reports, diba? Your research with like for the players and all that, what they've been up to. So, ayun, but it's cool nga na it doesn't feel like work, so it's something that you could say that's like an escape from, your academics, which of course is very demanding also in its own right, diba? So yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's being able to juggle anything at all, like just different responsibilities is something that we really respect talaga. It's not easy. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice that it kind of became something that you could look forward to despite it still being
Yeah.
categorized under work, right? So it
Yeah.
it kind of became your outlet to just chill away from your schoolwork, even if it technically is like work. Like I think that's as nice of a balance as life can get, where it doesn't feel like work, even if you technically are working, right? So if you love what you do, right, you never work a day in your life. So I guess that can kind of
Yeah.
apply here for half of it. I mean, I'm sure your engineering stuff is fun also as tiring as it can get, right? So
Well,
I mean, and to be able to do a solo thesis, that's no small feat. So props to
Yeah.
you for being. I didn't even know. I forgot that some engineering will do solo thesis. So in my mind, I'm like, how are you balancing all of this? It's so impressive. I don't think anyone would have like a proper answer na nga for how to manage your time. It really just naturally happens, and then everything kind of just works out. So good for you for being able to do all of that at the same time. And I'm sure the whole LaSallian community is glad that you decided to take this leap because now you're added to the list of our lucky charms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an honor. I mean, LaSalle has like so many iconic courtside reporters, I think. So there was that pressure also of trying to do my best. Hopefully, I'm doing it justice so far. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
after
we've
everything, yeah, but like after the roller coaster of this season, like being the one who was able to tell the story of all of that, that on its own must have been like a
Yeah.
challenge for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, and in this next part, this is where we're gonna get into the into deep diving into that roller coaster. All right, so we'll kind of go through the season a little. I mean, LaSalle, if anything, had one of the, I don't know, I don't even know how to describe it. I always call it the
Brutal.
Ted Lasso miracle season because that's the only
Yeah.
it's the only way I can describe like what happened. Like I can't believe we still ended up on top after everything. And all the teams were like equally great. So it was even more of an achievement that we were able to still end up on top despite everything that happened. So, okay, the first game was Adamson in the UST gym. We only won that by two. That was the first showing of LaSalle, and I'm sure after watching that game, there were like light and dark spots where people were like, "Okay, this is good, this is good." Like, "Oh, we need to improve on that for sure." But it's still a win. Like that was the first showing of Jake being Jake and again passing that last second shot to Mason for that three. So that won us that game. The second game was against UST, which honestly at that point, like in the beginning of the season, I thought that was the finals preview. So I told Mon like let's go watch live because UST had just blown out UP. So you're like, whatever happens today, this is gonna be an incredible like showing. And then UST just destroyed us. We were really good for three quarters, and then in the last quarter, the Growling Tigers went to work, and then we just yeah. So 1-1. Um, Next game was FEU. We also won that I think only by two or three. But it
Yeah.
was a really that was the best that the team had looked at that point in the season. Like I remember watching the game here at home, and then there were so many players that were contributing at once that I was like, okay, this is looking this is looking promising. This is looking good. I think Doi Dumo was the player of the game, of course,
Yeah.
Doi Dumo. And then we go into the Ateneo game, which I think in round one was the most
Oh,
anticipated. Yeah. And then we had that
such a bad game.
uh so okay, those we were down by 30 and then we got it down to seven, I think, or five,
Yeah.
something like that. We
Yeah.
still ended up losing by seven. But it really impressed me that the team was able to make Havel that much in the fourth quarter to the point where I thought we were still gonna make it out. But
Yeah.
we ended that game with a loss and then we're now 2-2. So what's the team feeling right now? Like I'm sure after the loss to Ateneo pa out of all the teams, after not losing against Ateneo for two seasons, I think, or like since 86, the first round, something like that. Yeah. We went three or four straight wins. So what is the team feeling right now? What are you feeling at this moment?
Um, Actually, now that we're like recapping it, even just the start of the season was already like a roller coaster, which is crazy to think looking back. I don't know. I think, going into the season, the team had a lot of expectations because we had so many new recruits, so many new star recruits. So like, Jacob Cortez, Mason Amos, Kian, um, and Luis Pablo. So that first game against Adamson, I will go to the start. The first game against Adamson, I remember that was like a clutch game too. We barely won it until the end when Mason made a 3-point. So I think that was like people were probably thinking, and the team was thinking too, that why was it that close? Because everyone was expecting us to dominate, and I think they were also expecting that because in the preseason they were really dominating the schools. Um, but it was still a win, so everyone was positive still. And then the game after that, we lost against UST, so that was like a wake-up call to them. I think that um, we can't underestimate the team, and yeah, we're strong on paper, but it's different in the UAAP. It's a different environment compared to preseason. For some reason, the teams are just so much better during the season than off season. So I think that showed that they really had to work for it. Then, yeah, FEU was a good game. I think if I remember, like a lot of our issues in our games was we'd play well at the start, and then it would be at the end where we'd crumble a bit, and then it would be down to the wire or we'd lose it. So Like that was our issue with UST and FEU. And then yeah, the Ateneo game, there was so much hype going into it. Um, Honestly, I don't know what happened the first three quarters. I think like even the guys didn't know what was going on. In the dugout, it was just really high tensions, and I think it was good that we ended off the game where it was like we almost won it still. Even I was thinking like I was getting ready to do like an interview at the end because I was like, oh, maybe we're gonna win. It was so close, and I think so. Despite playing bad, the team was still positive in a way because they could have won it in the end. And the fact that they had closed that huge margin was like a big deal to them. So, it showed them that they were capable, but it still just wasn't enough. They had to work harder and do better and go even harder in training to tighten up the things that weren't going well in the first three quarters. I think the main thing was that they knew that they were capable, but for some reason they weren't able to execute. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, those first four. Well, I can't say that it got like any less intense after, because after that, I think it got even. Okay, so this is the next. NU is the next one, and NU was
Yes.
on NU was on fire. I think they had only lost once at that point. They had just lost to UP. I think that was their first loss of the season, right? Yeah, I remember. I thought they were also gonna sweep UP, so it impressed me a lot. But there was this like hope inside me that was like, I think we can beat NU, because like after all the, yeah, okay, we lost to Ateneo, but we almost came back, and like if we just keep it close against NU, we I think we can do it. And then the tragedy of the first big injury, that that just broke me. Yeah. Full disclaimer here to, if any of the Green Archers are listening, Mason Amos is my favorite player. So that that destroyed me.
That was brutal,
And I
man.
had I
Yeah.
had to go to mass after, and I was so demoralized at mass. I was like, what are we gonna do now? Like
Yeah.
this is such a big like player that we just lost right now. Like what are we gonna do? And I didn't know, I didn't know what was gonna happen after that. So the next game was UE, and they hadn't won any games up to that point. So I was like, I still feel like I should skip watching it on Pina's live, because I was like, okay, from the showing of every game this season, like it's worth watching all of them. Like it doesn't matter who anyone is against, like it's worth watching. And then we got another injury.
Yeah,
The
Kian. Oh
second
my
the
gosh.
second two in a row, and we
Yeah.
almost lost that game. We won it in overtime by one.
Yes.
But that was when Jake had like one of the best games of the season. But two people down, and the two big recruits down, one after the other. The I'm sure the sentiments of the whole Lasallian fan base, we were just like, what are we supposed to do after this? So after that UE game, what was happening in like the dugouts? I'm sure Coach Topex had to like super like reassure everybody that everything was still gonna be okay, because I, I wouldn't know what to do if
Yeah. I think it was really intense emotions in the dugout after, well, first the NU game, when Mason went down. Everyone was shook. I think at the time we didn't know how serious it was. So we were just praying that it wouldn't be a season-ending injury or anything. But I think you could tell also that it shook their confidence even in the game because Brian they didn't play the same after Mason went down. And even personally, I remember thinking like that was the first time where I felt that like because you grow close to the players like right away, the team right away. And I felt so, so bad for Mason. Like my heart was breaking for him. because I knew how badly he wanted to prove himself this season. And then that happened to him out of all people. So yeah, I just felt really bad for him. The team felt really bad for him, but I think they just had to keep moving forward. And then so when UE happened and the same thing happened to Kian, it was like all the more they hadn't even had time to recover from losing Mason, and then now they're losing Kian also. So after I think when Kian went down, that was an even worse dugout because it's like two players out right away. Even Coach Topex was, he's also crying with Kian and consoling him. Because Kian also wanted to prove himself really bad this season. So, it was just very, very intense emotions. I remember just everyone feeling down right after the game. But then when it's like training the next day, they try to, reset and focus on what are we gonna do now? Someone has to step up. Someone, always have that next man up mentality. And, sure enough, like there were other players who were able to step up and other players who were able to shine because of those two injuries. So it came with its pros and cons, I guess. Obviously, we don't want any injuries, but looking back now, we know that some good things also came out of it. So, yeah, yeah. Personally, though, I was like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen now? It was so, I was getting so emotional for them because, you really empathize with the athletes when you get to
Yeah,
know
for
them
sure.
on a personal level. And so, yeah, I felt so bad. But I remember after Mason got injured, the day after, or like 2 days after, he was already in training. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, he was already sitting there. So I had a chance to talk to him. And um, I think that was one of our longer conversations because he was just sitting on the side. So while they were training, he was there and he surprisingly had a really, really positive mindset. So I was like, it gave me hope too. It encouraged me that this isn't the end. And if he's being positive about it, then that means, he'll be okay eventually. And so, yeah, he had a really good attitude about it. He handled it so well. Like, I think it helped that his teammates were also really there for him. And yeah, I think either they had their faith to hold on to, they had God to hold on to. So he was really like holding on to that and still being present for his teammates in training. So I think that helped both him and the morale of the whole team.
This point in the season, things are like it's kind of the vibes are kind of low right now. Things are going the best, definitely not, but no reason to freak out. I remember like because I follow all of the UAP podcast guys, so I listened to all of them to hear what they have to say, and I think they were still like, it's not time to panic for LaSalle. Like good things are gonna happen. Things are gonna shape up. So the next game was a big one against UP. First finals rematch from last season. For me, I think, well, in my opinion, this was the biggest game of the regular season because the showings from it were so impactful for everything that was coming, right? Like this was I think I told Mon, let's just watch this. Let's go watch this one live because I feel like this is gonna be a really special one, whatever happens. Sure enough, the the rise of LP9,
Yeah.
what an incredible and what a time for him to show up against his former team to get player of the game. He was out hustling everybody on that court. I don't think you think didn't have an answer anymore after a while. I think he had so many rebounds and I don't know, we pulled out that win. Never mind that it was only 3 points. Like that was a huge win for us. And I'm sure that also boosted up everyone's morale again. Like, oh yeah, we can still do this. Like it's far from over. After that, the team went on a two more winning streak, two more, right? UST, we won. We blew them out. 9 points, I think, also. Yeah. After those two clutch corner threes by EJ, where he just couldn't miss. Even he even fell back and he still made it in. And then the UE second round where we won by I think 12 or something like that. So right now LaSalle is on a 4 game winning streak. What's the vibe? What's the vibe in the dugout? I'm sure it's completely different now.
Yeah. Well, starting with the UP game, that was a huge win just because it showed them that they're still capable of winning despite losing two key players. And I think that also made them realize that um for some reason, like I think that was the game where they started to gel a bit more. I don't know what technical things exactly happened, but they were able to adjust to losing Mason and Kian, and things started flowing well. That was the first time I feel this season that we really saw Babs play like the player we were waiting for him to play like. Even in UP, I don't think he played that way. It was like this is the first time we really saw him like come into his own as a player. Um, and then it was just tuloy-tuloy na after that. Uh, yeah, I remember I had a conversation with him like a few days before that game or the day before that game, and he was saying that like he wasn't satisfied yet with how he'd been playing, and he'd been really working hard, even outside training, like doing extra drills and extra skills outside of training. So I was like, trying to encourage him, like, yeah, you got this. So when he got player of the game, I was like, I had a feeling you were going to be player of the game because you were telling me that you were really, working extra hard. So yeah, I was really happy for him. Um, and then yeah, the two other wins after that. Um, I think morale was high. I think we were hoping that it would be continuous after that. Obviously, we know that's not what happened, but um yeah, at that point, everyone was doing good, everyone was happy. Things were starting to click for the team. And I think they were starting to see that, maybe there was a reason for why Mason and Kian were out and like we needed this in a way. Obviously, it's not what we wanted, but it ended up working out to the team's benefit in the end. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to LaSalle's team mentality talaga. You know how everybody has they have each other's backs talaga. And like what you mentioned, yung next man up mentality. It was pretty cool seeing the other players step up and have their moment to shine when, our other two players went down. And, I think, I know injuries suck, pero they're part of the game. Pero for me talaga, I think LaSalle was really embodied, you know, showing resiliency despite the adversity that they faced. So it was pretty cool that run that we had after Kian and Mason went down. It really showed that yeah, we're still a team. We're gonna pick up the slack and just keep going pa rin. So it really gave us fans like hope na we can still make some magic happen pa rin. And yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool to witness.
Yeah, I just want to add like I forgot to mention this earlier, but once we went through like all of those injuries and all of those like losses and stuff, you could see it was like slowly growing a fire inside the team that wasn't there at the start of the season. Like start of the season, yeah, they're working hard, but they're still chill, like goofing off. And then as the season went on, like end of round one, round two, it was like everything they were going through was making them want it more and more, making them lock in all the more and work harder. And you could tell that that intensity was growing in training as well, with how they were approaching training. Like I guess a prime example would be Mike, just because he was the team captain. So he sets the tone for the team. And start of the season, he was a bit chill, like goofing off because he's a goofy guy, like if you know him off the court. But then as the season was going on, he was like serious na in training and like playing mad in a way, but like in a good way. Like he was hype when he was doing all when they were, going back and forth in training. So even the coaches were telling me like Mike is mad, playing mad, and that's a good thing. That means we're gonna win because it was a sign that they were locking in, and the rest of the team follow his lead. If he has that energy, then they're also gonna exude the same energy. So yeah, it was besides that other players got to step up, it also made them want to work harder, made them push themselves even more. And I don't think that would have happened if they didn't go through all of those things during the season. Yeah.
And then nothing bad happened anymore after that, and we won.
There's
So this
more.
is yeah, oh my God. So we went down, up, now we're going down again. So this, I mean, obviously nothing is worse than the injuries, but this point in the season, I think, is where like I'm sure it was messing with the players already mentally when this this next tragedy happens where we lost three in a row. Well, okay, the NU one, I mean, it was NU. Like we played really well, but NU still came out on top, and they played well talaga. So it was understandable that we didn't end up with the win. And then we played FEU. We were playing really well for the first three quarters, and then FEU caught up in the end, and then we were never able to get the lead back. We lost by one. That
Oh
that
yeah.
that was so. I was in Rockwell. I was watching it on my phone, and then in the last few minutes, I was walking now while I was watching it. So I had to like keep looking up to make sure I wasn't bumping anyone. And then I just decided to stay na in the side railing in the last 1 minute because I couldn't breathe anymore. And then when we lost, like I remember, I think Fabs, like he made like that the baseline like railing after right after.
Yeah.
My heart was just like, what did I just witness? What happened? Like why? And then the same thing happened 3 days after. We tied it with Adamson. I think Earl shot this three to get us down by 1 point only with like 30 seconds left. We weren't able to get the lead back anymore. Adamson won by one. And then I think at this point I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna expect anything anymore because I think the FEU one like probably took a toll on everyone who was playing, everyone who was witnessing that also. So after that, I was like, it's not good for health to make every game feel like this. So I'm just gonna take the wins that we can get, and if we can't get any, then that's the way that it was meant to be, right? So 3 game losing streak. How is everybody feeling?
Oh my gosh. I forgot that it was like 1 point losses lang. That yeah, I remember now. It hurt so bad. Um for the team, for me, like I feel like I was taking it harder than emotionally than some of the players. Like I think I was expecting that after those losses, the players would be really down, not able to shake it off. And yeah, they would be down right after the game, maybe even that night. And then the next day in training, like they just forget about it, they move on and, you know, think about the next game now. And I guess part of that is also the culture that Coach Topex tries to instill in the team. He's a very motivating guy. So, um, yeah, I don't know everything that he tells them, but uh, whenever I go to training, it was like they didn't lose. They're not thinking about that loss anymore. They're just moving on to the next. And I really admire how they're able to shake it off. Because even I personally, like you, I was like, oh, I don't know how we're gonna get back anymore. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was starting to lose hope a bit. But obviously, I didn't say it out loud. But in my head, I was like, this is crazy because we were thinking it would be tuloy-tuloy na, and then we're already nearing end of round two, and then we're losing still. So yeah, it's just an emotional roller coaster. Honestly, I feel like the coaches maybe were more emotional than the players. The players are able to like, I don't know how they do it, but they're able to just shut off their emotions and just keep working at it. Um, but yeah, I remember when I think Bob's cried after the FEU game. I think he was just really disappointed in his performance. The whole team knew that they were capable of winning, but it was just in the end that for some reason, just the other team just played better in the end. And it just wasn't, meant to be. But yeah, I think they just had no choice but to keep pushing forward. And they really did not want to give up. That's one thing. Whenever I'd interview any of the guys, they're like, we're just focusing on the next game. Like last game is over, we're focusing on the next. Yeah, those losses hurt, but they're not thinking about it anymore. It's in the past and they're just gonna do whatever they can to get back. So yeah, I admire them for doing that because it's not easy to bounce back from losses like that after everything that already gone through. Yeah, crazy, crazy time.
Yeah, and then what's the next one? UP. UP again.
Yes.
It's crazy how like they're like all the games against UP, even the non-final one, we're such like big bearing and like so important. Because if LaSalle loses this against UP, they'll go 6-7. Sige, shut up. Okay, don't do it, Pon. That will be the record. That will be the record.
Right,
They'll
sure,
have
exactly.
more losses. They'll have more losses than wins, and it'll totally mess up the standings for a chance at the playoffs. But this, I feel like, was the game where I think I told myself, if LaSalle wins this, we're winning everything because just literally everything that could go wrong up to this point, it already happened. So UP also hadn't lost any game in the second round. They were 6-0 against
Yeah.
a team that had just lost three straight. But lo and behold, this was the time when Mesa Damas came back into the. I just totally, he totally messed. I feel like he totally messed up the game plan of UP. Like it caused so many problems, and I think it was so smart for him to come back to this game and not wait till the Ateneo one because I thought they were gonna save him for the Ateneo game since it got moved, diba? Like
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the typhoon.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna wait to have him come back for that game, but to have him come back in this one was so smart because like it just messed up the rhythm of UP. Like it caused the bigs to go out and guard him, which left like the other players open to just do whatever they wanted. And I think this was also a really big win for Jake because he was in his slump, right? He was having those like few games where he wasn't performing the way that he wanted to. I think he only scored like less than 10 points total in the Adamson and FEU games. And then he
Yeah.
scored like 14 or something in the UP game, which were still difficult for him, but it was really hard earned. And I remember seeing a photo from the end of the game where he was like tearing up. And that got me because I was like, this is such critical like character development for a star to go through something like this and then to slowly earn his way like back. Now it's like a personal victory, but also it's like a win for the team to have him back because his confidence just totally came back after that, right? So
Yeah.
that was a really big win for us. It kept us at 7-6, and then we the final game of the regular season for the playoffs was Ateneo. How poetic was that? It was our chance to like not only beat them but to knock them out of the playoff and to
Yes.
Yes.
FEU out of the playoffs too. We had won, but we did. Everyone was just crazy good there. I think I don't remember who the was it Jake player of the game? I think
Yeah, because he
yeah,
like went on a
Yeah,
run
I
in the
think so.
last.
yeah. The ISO play against Joaquin Espina was just cherry on top. I remember we watched that game live, but we weren't
Yeah, we
sitting
did.
together, so we only talked about it after. And then both of us were just like, my God, Cortez was just crazy. Couldn't miss in those last like few minutes. And that was when we were like, okay, I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna win. So we got into the final four with all odds stacked against us. But the the key thing here, I think, was that Kian was coming back
Yeah.
also. Yeah. So the team would be complete. And I think that just reassured the Lasallian community that like how poetic can this get that like we're gonna be complete when we need everyone the most. So we beat I don't know how we did it. We beat NU by 10 in the first game. Technically, yeah, that is a blowout. Everyone performed really, really well. Second game was really, really close back and forth, but of course Jacob just saved the day. Well, those three, the two or three of the 3 pointers that he made shouldn't have been possible. I don't know how he made those, but
Oh yeah, it
it's
was
just
like far from. It was like a 4 point.
yeah, that
Yeah.
one, and then the one from the corner to get us tied. At, I think it was 69-72, and then he made it 72 all. That one after that we were like, okay, let's stand now for the rest of the game because I think we're gonna win. And then we booked our ticket to the finals against UP, and I'm sure the team was like, how is everyone feeling now? Now that like you did the impossible, you beat NU twice. No team had done that this season, like or not even like two in a row. I mean, UP did it, but like in two different rounds. Ours was like tuloy tuloy.
Yeah. Gosh, this is making me miss basketball again, miss the season again, because I forgot how exciting and crazy the games were. But I agree with you, like that UP game when we won that game. In my head, I was also thinking, okay, I think this is a sign that we're gonna like sunod-sunod na yung wins. And sure enough, that's what happened. But um, yeah, the UP win was like also kind of an impossible win at that point just because of how low we were in the standings. I mean, three straight losses. And even I was like, oh, I'm not sure if we're gonna win, but we'll see. We'll see. And we did, which was great. I think that was a much needed win, not just in the standings, but also their personal, like for their own confidence. That, okay, that was just a slump. We were able to win again against UP. And it's always, I mean, I guess UP's become our rivals now. So they always have like an extra motivation when it's against UP. And yeah, Mason came back, which that also motivated them, I think. Because we weren't sure if he was going to be able to come back, but he was. So even just his presence there, even if he didn't score a lot or, just having him there was already a plus. And then, yeah, Ateneo game, I think their confidence was just at a high already at that point. Because they had gone through so much. They're like, we can't stop now. We just have to keep going. Like they didn't go through all of that just for it to end to Ateneo there, like not making it to Final Four. So that was like their main motivation. They just had so many do or die games that weren't really do or die, but to them it's like do or die. Like we need to win now. And so I think going into Final Four, where that's really the do or die game, it was like they were already used to being in that situation of we have no choice but to win. So I think that was their edge against NU. And that was also their mindset that um we've been in this situation so many times before. We've had so many obstacles. That's what's gonna push us, to the end over NU. Because NU had been like on top the whole the whole season practically they were number one, I think. So they hadn't experienced that pressure-packed situation where they have to win. Whereas we like had to claw our way just to get there. And so they had just like so much motivation to win. Like they didn't want it to end there. They didn't want everything they went through to be sayang lang. So yeah, when we won the first game against NU, I think they were like they could feel it now that they were that team and they're finally complete because the whole season they weren't complete. Like besides Mason and Kian, JC also injured his nose start of the season. Actually, he was the first one to get injured. And then we also didn't have LeBron for a few games and then a bunch of suspensions with Boris and EJ. So almost all of the games, I think, except for one during the eliminations, we were incomplete by at least one player. So going into Final Four, having everyone complete finally, that was like, they were like, this is all just coming together so well. We have to win. There's no way we can't win. I think that was what they were thinking. And that's what they were telling me. So yeah, it was just historic run. And then in the end, it's still them paired in the finals. That was like so good. Cinema. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, it had to be a trilogy. There's no way it would be a one and one and then that's it. Like it had
Yeah,
to end like this,
Yeah.
I feel like.
yeah.
Before we go to the finals, this is it, the last stretch already. So we can have like let's have a little like break time trivia. We'll ask you some like, yeah, some UAP like trivia questions for your opinions on like favorite players and stuff. And then
Okay.
to be fair, me and Mon will answer it too.
Okay,
So Mon, do you
good.
wanna okay, game? Do you wanna
All right. Okay. Who's your favorite player from another team? It doesn't have to be current,
Oh,
can also be like all times from another team.
ooh. Wait, that's hard with another team. Favorite player, favorite player. Um, Gosh, I can't think. You're putting me on the spot. Uh, this is so hard because ever since I've always been a LaSalle fan. So like
yeah,
all the players I can
it feels
think
like
of are
blasphemy to be like, how can I have another favorite
Yeah,
player?
wait, this is hard. Because all I can think of are LaSalle players. Okay, let me
That's a
just
good
think this
answer. That's a good
cinema.
answer though.
Like even the old players, I'm just thinking of LaSalle players. Wait, how about you guys? Do you have answers while I think?
Yeah, but
Yeah, you
dang.
can answer. Because I can't think yet. Wait.
So are we going this season? If it's this season, for me, it's Dom Escobar for sure.
Okay.
I what a the problems he caused for our team. Ibang klase talaga.
That's true. It's true. Who
I'd go
else?
college, honestly, from
Valid.
US. Yeah.
Who? Sorry.
Collins from UST.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Actually, yeah, I was thinking either like um Nick Cabanero or you know,
Hmm.
Ooh, good
yeah,
answer.
Nick or actually Collins also was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll go with them. Yeah, because I can't think of anyone else.
Good answer.
Yeah. And Nick is really good, and he's loyal to UST, so I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Oh,
That's probably the hardest question I've had this whole interview.
Yung chill
oh.
question is the hardest one.
Because it's like it can't be from LaSalle. So
Hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, also when we were trying to come up with our own answers for this, I kind of had a hard time because I was like, why do none of these sound like correct in my head? Like it doesn't process for me to say like an Ateneo player
Yeah.
is my favorite player from another team. But then I was just like, okay, I'll just treat them all as like neutral basketball players, and then we'll just go from there. Okay, Which oh okay. Which team okay, let's make this which team besides UP were you always nervous for LaSalle to face?
Mm,
Doesn't have to be this season. Like even in the past, like in the KQ era seasons.
okay. Um, Honestly, I'd say UE, just because UE always plays well against the South for some reason. Same in this season too. I mean, our overtime game was against UE out of all teams. So yeah, maybe UE. Even if they're like usually one of the bottom teams for some reason, when it's LaSalle, they like play super well.
They're
So
wild cards, eh? They're wild cards. They're like, okay, we're gonna just play our best along and destroy you.
yeah. And I mean
Yeah.
they have a lot of good players too, so you can't
Yeah.
underestimate them either. So yeah, maybe
Mhm.
UE.
Okay. Which player scared you the most whenever they had the ball against us?
Oh, okay. Um, Probably like Alarcon or
Mhm.
um yeah, Alarcon or Abadiano. Just because yeah, I mean they're clutch players too. We also know they're good.
Yeah.
Um yeah, maybe them.
That was Vicky's answer also, Jerry.
That was your answer.
Those are your answers too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Vicky's answer. We were like, yeah, that's why it's
Okay.
scary Jerry, right? So
Yeah, exactly. You never know what they're gonna pull. Like, I don't know.
actually true. Yeah, mine was no, Terrence Bertea. I just
Okay,
ah
yeah, I was gonna say him, but he didn't play as much as the other two this season, I
yeah,
think.
no, Jerry and Harold were the dominant like presence like especially in the finals. But Bertea is such a like he
His
can
three
fling
is
it from like I don't even know where to go in.
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, Forte also. He's such an accurate shooter.
It's
It's crazy.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite moment from this season? Let's not don't say winning, but like
Yeah,
favorite
something else.
moment when you saw it live, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Probably um NU Final Four game two when Jacob made those
Yeah.
impossible 3-point shots. I don't know if that's like a expected answer, but I remember just in that moment being so hyped, jumping, screaming all over the place, high-fiving all of the guys on the bench, like crazy game. And
Something
just
else. Talaga.
the stakes of the whole thing, the way that it happened, that it had to be clutch 3 points in the end. Yeah, yeah, that
That
was
was a finals level game, honestly. That
yeah,
Yeah,
was
it
it
like
was.
was.
I remember the crowd beside us. No one was sitting down anymore. We were like, eh, just
Yeah,
stand up na lang the whole fourth quarter.
yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention that yun nga, Jacob was in a slump for such a long time. So we were all waiting, like, come on, Jake, like come back, like we need you now. And he pulled through in the end. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was I was really happy for him because he also was like frustrated, I guess, a bit with himself or disappointed with himself that he wasn't playing as well as he should have been. So yeah, well deserved in the end.
So everyone's on an all-time high right now. They booked their ticket to the finals for the third year in a row. Crazy. And we're facing UP again, a team that we haven't lost to yet this season, which is, I think, a big deal also going into this again, right? Plus, everyone's complete and everyone's healthy. So it's, we're looking good. We're looking good. What was everyone feeling right before that first finals game started?
Everyone was just hyped. Like we were, I think, yun nga, it was like such an impossible situation just to get to the finals. I think, people are counting us out already. So the fact that we had made it to the finals, everyone was so hyped, so excited, so ready. And the fact that they were complete made it all the more special. So yeah, I feel like I don't know, maybe you underestimate being complete, like just how much confidence that gives you. Even if not everyone plays, just the fact that they're all there on the court to support each other meant so much to the players because the whole season they weren't complete. So it just felt very poetic to them. So they were all like, you know, so ready. And I think they could feel that they were capable of winning, of beating UP. Of course, they knew it wasn't going to be easy, but they knew they could do it and that everything that had happened was building up to this moment. So they had to win. They just had a feeling that they were going to win. And they did eventually, which is great. But I know it was, if I remember, it was still a pretty close game. Um, but yeah, in the end they won. And it was like they were just on a roll. They hadn't lost in how many games. So emotions were at an all-time high. Everyone was happy. Everyone was like, and it was just one more win until the championship. So they could really feel it na at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those Pablo blocks on Harold, I think there were two huge ones where he just like
Oh,
swatted it.
Yeah.
yeah.
That shifted the momentum because I think UP was up for most of that fourth quarter. I remember because
Yes.
we were figuring out a time when we could go to the banyo. We were like, I don't want to miss anything anymore. But
Yeah.
LaSalle was down by a bit, and we were like, okay, we can kind of go now because I think this is a good time. And then from the hallway, we could hear screaming like, and we were like, what's happening? What's happening? So
Yeah.
we went back to look, and then LaSalle was like catching up. We were like, it was like back and forth already. We were only down by like 1 or 2 points at a time. And then that that Hail Mary three na naman from Jacob that stunned Real Torres, that stunned the whole UP community, that put us up by 4. We were up by 1, yeah. And then they put Jake back with like 20 something seconds left. Or 30 seconds, sorry.
Oh,
He took
yeah.
his time pa. He took his time pa walking down. He
Right.
was just like, it's okay, guys, it's okay. Well, he was just dribbling. I remember he waited until like the last 4 or 3 seconds on the shot clock to make
Yeah.
the move, and he still made it.
My
And
gosh, yeah,
then,
I forgot that happened. Yeah, he was on the
yeah,
bench for a while.
yeah, it was
So
Kian that was
finally put him back.
playing. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh,
So the first time in that trilogy where we ever won a game one in the finals, which would that after that I was like, okay, I think this is it. It's
yeah.
either we're gonna be La Salle in 2 or La Salle in 3. Because
Yeah,
my gut was still like, I think we're gonna win in 3. Like we'll win, it just won't be in 2. Because I don't think UP's gonna go down that easily. It's not doesn't make sense in the writings of the
yeah.
basketball gods, right? Doesn't make any sense. So game 2 was when they finally put Jacob Baila on Jake, and it freaking worked. He was contained. I mean, he still made a shot. I remember all of the podcast guys were like, "Yeah, they put Baila on Cortez. Like he still made all his shots, but it was not easy anymore. I think he was limited because they just doubled down on Jake already, and Mike wasn't having, I think, the best scoring game. I think he only had 8 points. He had a lot of rebounds and assists though, but like I think he only had mga 8 points. And then UP ended up winning by 3, I think.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, okay, I did say that the LSU would win in 3 in my head, and like if this was the game that Tasao was gonna win, like sayang, because like not everyone was able to like show up, right? Like if they had won, but that was Mike's last game, like I think Jacob would have been Finals MVP.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been Mike. Like we wanted more. I'm sure everyone wanted to see more, and this just gave Mike another chance to make power in game 3. But I'm guessing the thought process was like, okay, we just even if we lost this one, we just need to win one more. So how is everyone feeling going into game 3?
Yeah. I remember honestly before game two, everyone was kind of treating it like it would be our last training now. Because I remember even me, I was like, oh, like the coaches were like, oh, last training. And, they were treating it that way too in training. Like, this could be our last. They felt like they were going to win. I felt like we were going to win game two. I think everyone felt it too. Just in the end, Abadiano, I think, made like 3 point or something. Like, and then UP won it in the end. And Voris missed the last 3 point shot that could have won us the game. Again, another like
What would have happened, no, if that
yeah,
shot had gone in? Because in the replay, it swirled and then went out.
yeah,
Like it
that's
was
why
a really good look.
yeah, it was. And yeah, it would have been a completely different story if it did go in because of how everyone else played. And yeah, you're right. Like, I think the way things happened, it was like more poetic in a way that, I was thinking like I was waiting for Mike to explode scoring wise because he hadn't been that much in the last games before that. And I think that's what we were missing besides, Jake, I mean, Jake always naman the game score wise. But yeah, we were missing Mike doing that. Opening game one when Bobs made those blocks, it kind of reminded me of like KQ season 86. It was the season that we won championship with KQ. It brought me back to that. So I was also thinking like I can feel the championship. And then yeah, momentum got cut a bit game two. Although it was really close still, so we could have won. But then yeah, when we lost that, I think for some reason, well, not for some reason, but because they really felt like they were gonna win game two, when they lost, I think it really hit them. The vibes in the dugout were really low. And, Coach Topex was telling them, like, this isn't over. He was trying to encourage them, like, this isn't over. We've been through so much, like, we can get back to it. But they just need to hold on. Um, and yeah, he was really, at that point, he was like really, really encouraging them. And that's when I knew that they were really down. Because normally it's like, yeah, they're down, but not like completely down. But that game was different because I think they really thought they were going to win. And everyone was treating it like we were going to win now. So that just hurt all the more. Um, and then going into game three, they were super locked in. No one was allowed to go to training, me included. It was like close training because sometimes some people watch or, there are other people who are entering the gym. They were like, no one is allowed. No one's even allowed to go up in Rizon. So I didn't get to see their last few trainings before game three. Um, but I respect it in a way. It's like, I trust the process. Like if you guys need to lock in, go lock in. As long as we win in the end, that's all that matters. So, yeah, I think game two loss needed to happen, um, in order for the win to be that much sweeter in the end. Game three, that much more satisfying. And yeah, that Mike exploded on his last game in the UAAP and got the finals MVP. Like, that's how it was meant to happen in the end.
And when the story is being told, it doesn't make sense that like, oh, they won it in two. And then
Yeah,
like, what
parang it's like,
happened?
no,
What
but
happened with
then like,
Motor Mike? Like, oh, he was okay,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Plus, it gave you have fans what we always want, which is game three. Even if even if it means like the risk that like, oh my God, we're gonna lose. Of course, we'd much rather have the win, but again, it's good basketball. You know, this guy, he was like, I'm only gonna watch one game in the final series because I know we're gonna win it in two. But our best friend Trio, kasi the other ones, he's taking an exam now, so he can't be here. But the, our luck is always like at its best when we're complete. So we
Yeah.
watched the first game together, and then we won that one. And then Mon was like, "I'm gonna watch game two." No, it's sure naman eh. Then I'm like, nah, dude, I have a weird feeling it's gonna be LaSalle in three. And he's like, no, it's gonna be LaSalle in two. Lo and behold,
Yeah.
LaSalle lost. But I
But
think
we won.
yeah, we we were gonna try and get tickets to the third game, and he wasn't sure if he could go yet. But when I said that TicketNet had blessed me and I had gotten through the queue, I don't know how I did it, but I was able to get. He's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm watching na lang. Like you're like, yeah, dude, this might as well, right? This is the last
Yeah,
game of the season. Like, might as well be there in Araneta in the bleachers, which he had never watched a Genad game there. So I was like explaining to them like, oh, it's not chairs. Like we're gonna have to sit like on the stairs, but don't worry, we're not gonna be sitting down. Like we're gonna
yeah,
be standing up the entire game. Like it's an experience for the guys. Like whatever, I'll watch it. So we always do this UAP like pre-game on our we're always discussing in the food court of Gateway like, oh, what could possibly happen. And I remember I was so of course I was like glazing Mason because he had been like not really showing up in the first two games. But I told Mon, I was like, I feel like a really big thing that they could do here is put him back in the starting lineup because like if you want like Mike to go off, you need Francis Naruka and Gani out guarding Mason. You need them out of the box so that Mike can like do his thing. And then when they showed the starting lineup in the game, I was like, oh my God, Mason's gonna start. It's
yeah,
the it's the same lineup that they started the season with, like the
yeah,
first right, the first five. And I was like, Coach Topex, you're so smart. Like this is such a smart thing to do. And
mm,
then first quarter, I think Jacob made a top of the key three, like right off the bat. First 30 seconds, LaSalle went up by three, and then Mason got a rebounded, like he got a rebounded put back from Mike, and then Mike was just exploding. I think he had 12 points in the first quarter, and then when the timer ended for the first quarter, they zoomed in on his face, and then he was just like nodding and being like, "Yeah, man, this." And I was
yeah,
like, "Yeah, this is gonna be this is the Motor Mike game we've
yeah,
been waiting for." Like he didn't miss like I think more than 70 or 80% of what he was shooting, he was making it in. Every single person like performed like oh, for me the highlight of that game though was the Earl dunk. That
oh yeah, the dunk he's
I
always wanted to do.
Yeah, right. There was a TikTok I saw in the beginning of the season where they asked the players what they wanted to accomplish this season. And Earls was like, I want to make a dunk, man.
Yeah,
So when I saw that, and then I heard the LaSalle crowd beside me, like their cheer was so different sounding. It was like a half cheer. They're like,
yeah,
oh, it was like that over Naruka. I think he skidded past Naruka and then made that dunk. I was like, okay, we were winning this because that was coming into the third, and we were down by five, 4 or 5. I know we were down by one, so that put us up by one, and then
okay.
the rest of the third quarter was like back and forth. The fourth quarter, there was a point where Ramogat made a 4-point play on a three. I think Boris fouled him, and that was when my heart was like, oh no, because there's always this moment in the end, like nearing the end of the fourth quarter, where you kind of know you're gonna win already.
Yeah,
But after that, the one I think it was less than 3 minutes. I was like, okay, wait, I don't know what's gonna
yeah, it
happen
really
here.
went down to the wire. Like even I
It
was like,
was
I'm not sure yet, because you never know what's gonna happen. Like
right. Everyone was just like scrambling for the loose ball whenever it was flying all over the court. But then there was a play where Jacob was taking the ball down. Abadiano swiped it out of his hands. Romogat got it back. And then Mike chased him down and blocked it.
oh yeah, from the
And then
back.
Gani tried to put it back. Mason swatted
Maiden
it out
blocked it.
and
Yeah,
grabbed it. I was like, that's it. This is
yeah.
it. We are winning. I remember
Because that was like an impossible
yeah,
situation also.
it was like a back and forth, just like, no, UP's ball is not going. And I think they got it to Harold, who tried to make a corner to you, and it missed. It like
Yeah.
bounced off. And then Mason threw it to Jake, who lobbed it to JC, who was like alone,
Yes. Yeah.
yes, in the
Another time.
backcourt. Yeah, he made it in. We got up by 7. That's when I was like, okay, nothing's gonna happen anymore that can happen. I think we're winning this now. And I think everyone around us knew it too.
Yeah, I remember at that point I was like starting to cry already because I could feel that we were gonna win. That was the first time I cried like physical tears during a game. I was trying to hold it in, but yeah, I could feel it. You could feel that the crowd felt it too, and the players on the court and on the bench, they could all feel it now. Like they were starting to cry already and
Yeah,
everything.
I that was such a emotional moment. That's the most emotional I think I've ever felt in a UAP game where like watching it happen and then I'm like replaying everything from the season in my head and I'm like, we are here now. Like we're about to when Mason and Kian made those last 4 free throws and then Kian like stared down the camera and the end. What a perfect way to end this crazy season.
Yeah,
Mike
that's also
won,
poetic that
right?
they made the
That
last 2 points. Because it was like, even if they didn't play as well throughout the entire game, they secured the win in the end for us. Like, so, it showed that they needed everyone and that they needed them to come back in the end for us to win. So just like, couldn't have been written better, honestly. It was,
honestly, yeah, and Mike winning Finals MVP. That was the last sprinkle on the cake. Like
Yeah.
what a perfect ending to his UAAP career. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure he was the top scoring player also of that game. 25. Did he
He
get
scored
25?
so much.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably his best game the whole season.
Honestly, it was fantastic. I
Yeah. And
no
and
words.
yeah, like I had been waiting for Mike to explode. I remember because I also always debrief games with my family. They're like, "What happened to Mike? Like, where's Mike? We want Mike to score more. Like, we were missing that from him." And I remember even my parents, because sometimes like my parents know the players. I've introduced them to my parents, so I remember them telling Mike like, "Come on, like Mike, come on, we want to see Motorman. We want to see you mad. Like we want to really see you get at it." And he was like, "Yes, yes, yes, Tito." So perfect. That game, he finally exploded at the very last game ever. So it was just perfect. I was so happy for him. So happy for the whole team. Yeah, crazy, crazy game
So what was your reaction as soon as you guys won? Did you run to the I don't
on the court.
yeah, did you
Cause
run on the court
yeah,
or were you just standing there for a minute taking everything in while the green like
yeah,
confetti
I
was
was
just all over the
thinking.
place?
Well, the last few like maybe like a minute left where it was like we're gonna win now pretty much because we were up by a couple points. They were already giving the champion t-shirts on the bench, and then the guys are wearing the shirts already. Like it was that part of the game now. Because I'm standing like out right beside the bench, but outside the bar, like where the barrier is. So I couldn't go on the court right away, but I was just like mix of crying, mix of screaming, jumping, like high-fiving, hugging everyone. Like it was so emotional. I couldn't even believe that we had won at that point because it was like, wow, I was just in awe of the whole journey. And the fact that I got to be a part of it somehow was also just crazy to me. Um, and then, yeah, as soon as I was able to there were so many people, but as soon as I was able to get on the court, it was like taking it all in, hugging, high-fiving everybody. Everyone was crying. It was so fun, so emotional, and just surreal. Like I could not have predicted that the season that I'd handle would end up like that. But I'm so, so grateful that, I was able to experience it out of every season possible that it would be this one. So yeah, just super grateful.
Yeah. I'm sure you're glad you took the leap na, like what we mentioned in the beginning of this podcast. And yeah, it's priceless. Like everything that happened during the season. I know it was a roller coaster season and there were lots of adversities that we faced and all that. Pero honestly, for me, a perfect season would be a season like this nga. A season with both the highs and the lows. Kasi you learn from the lows, diba? And LaSalle really just rose up from all of the hardships that they faced, and it made the victory that much sweeter nga for all of them. And to witness that as a fan and for you as their courtside reporter, yeah, like I said, it's a priceless experience that we'll never forget and we'll keep remembering for years to come for sure. So ayun. So with that being said, to sort of wrap things up, so we want to shift the focus back to you for this final question. So throughout the entire experience, what were you able to, take away, and when did you notice your growth as both a person and as a courtside reporter?
Yeah, there is so much that I can say for these two questions. Um, Maybe I'll start first as me as a courtside reporter or as a person. Um, like what I said at the start, just taking on this role to begin with was such a huge step for me. Um, and I never thought that it would be possible that I could be a courtside reporter just because I didn't think I had the capabilities. Um, I didn't have the confidence or the experience. And really, when I started it, they kind of just like throw you in the deep end and you just figure it out as you go along. So, um, yeah, just like the games and even like meeting the team is already a big step because you don't know them. You just have to like go up to them during training and be like, "Hi, like I'm your courtside reporter." Introduce yourself to the coaches, and it's intimidating because they're like an intact team. They've been training for months, years, and you're kind of just inserting yourself into them. So into the team, into the atmosphere. So that in itself was intimidating, but for me as someone who's more of an introvert, something I had to overcome. Was just like getting out of my comfort zone, not being afraid of being makapal ng mukha, but like, not in a bad way, but just doing it even if you're shy, even if it's awkward or you don't know what to say, just going for it, talking to people, getting to know them. And then the more that you expose yourself to them, the more they'll get comfortable with you. And, in the end, I was able to get really close with the team, the players and the coaches. And so that taught me as a person to not be afraid of putting myself out there. Because though did so many things that I had never done before, like even just yeah, socializing with a bunch of guys like basketball players and coaches and people who I didn't know at all. But that was part of my job, so I just had to do it. And that in itself taught me so much. Um, Being a courtside reporter, having the pressure of, writing your reports on the spot and saying it on camera in front of thousands of people, that was also something new that I had never experienced. And it taught me that I am capable of doing stuff like that because I never thought I would be able to or or that I could do it. And so it's opened like a whole new world of opportunities for me, or it showed me new skills that I didn't know I had. Um so yeah, maybe that's like the courtside slash person part, but what I learned just from the season overall and from the team is like resilience talaga and not giving up no matter what. Um, and really just holding on to your faith because the whole time, whenever I'd interview anyone from the team, they'd always go back to God and their faith in God. And that made me also realize, just how important it is to trust in God and have that faith because it was just like a physical display of you have no control over anything and it's God who will pull you out of it and work things out in the end. So that was just amazing for me to experience. I learned so much from the team, from everything they went through. And I mean, it's not just basketball, these are stuff that you can apply in life in general. So, yeah, I'm just really, really grateful for the whole experience. It changed my life, honestly. Maybe that's like corny to say, but it really did. And the fact that I got to experience this season and get to know all of these players and the coaches and represent my school, it's just like a full circle moment for me as a UAAP fan. So I'm really grateful for all of the experiences and all the lessons I got this season.
Love that. Yeah, and we just want to say congrats again on,
Thank
just a
you.
successful season of being the courtside reporter, and even currently still with,
Yeah, it's not done, man. Then we gotta
Yeah, it's
sweep
yeah,
round
fun.
two.
you're also doing well in volleyball too. So it's
Yeah,
just, I'm sure you're on like cloud nine talaga, just soaking everything in and just enjoying, everything. And we're also happy na with what you said, with what you shared about yung how you grew as a person and as a correspondent. And you know, we do these episodes not just to geek out on basketball talk, but also to give you guys a platform to share and inspire also maybe other people who would want to be like you guys. So yeah, because you guys do the reports on other people, so we figured
We'll do the
we
report on you.
yeah, we don't know. We want to be like a platform nga for you guys naman also, because you guys also deserve to be
Yeah.
heard, with your experiences and whatnot. So hopefully you had a great time here, and
yeah,
hopefully people watching were inspired also to, take the leap. Doesn't have to be like to become a correspondent, but just to become anything that they want to be in
Anything
life.
they want.
Diba? Yeah, it's worth it. It's fulfilling. So
yes, anything is possible. As
Exactly.
cheesy as it sounds, this like my journey and the journey of the basketball team just shows anything is possible.
yeah,
Anything
yeah.
possible. Yeah,
I'm
thank
so
you.
hyped. I don't want to wait until September again.
Yeah, we'll see. It should be another good season. Our team is still really good. I'm
Yeah, but the
excited.
other teams are also really good now, which is gonna make
Yeah,
it so much more.
Hey, good basketball regardless.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. At the end of the day, yeah, fine. It's good basketball, so we'll appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for being here today with us, Sophie. This was such a fun nerd out, geek out, whatever you want to call it. Like, I hope you had a lot of fun too. Something that you can look back on in the days when you're no longer a CSR, but you're reminiscing. Hopefully, this is a nice like little memory for you to have that will stay on forever. And again, the Lasallian community is super lucky to have you as the courtside reporter. So cheers to your future endeavors, your thesis. I'm sure you're gonna ace it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Um, yeah. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you. I had a lot of fun reminiscing. Now I like want to watch all the games all over again
yeah,
and just reminisce even more. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys for indulging in my yapping
Of
about the
course.
season.
oh,
It's always welcome. It's always welcome
it's a
here. That's what this
pleasure.
platform's
Yeah.
for. Yeah. All right. So this has been another UAP episode of our Know New Friends / Screw Up Sessions podcast. We will see you guys on the next one.